Have you ever wondered what really went on behind the hilarious scenes of the Cannonball Run? It turns out, this iconic film isn't just famous for its adrenaline-filled car races and star-studded cast, but also hides a treasure trove of chaotic behind-the-scenes secrets, from scenes cut for being too vulgar, unairable lines, to awkward moments that had the entire crew in stitches. There were jokes so outrageous they would shock today's audiences, and instances of actors going off-script so wildly that the director probably wanted to scream. Yet, ironically, it's these very moments that were left on the cutting room floor that reveal a version of the Cannonball Run that no one was ever allowed to see. Old, crazy, and just as unconventional as you'd imagine. This isn't just the story of a movie, but a journey into the untold secrets that you'd never expect. During the filming of the Cannonball Run, the atmosphere on set was described as a chaotic mess filled with laughter, perfectly capturing the crazy essence of director Hal Needham and star Burt Reynolds. With a relaxed working style, the entire crew often abandoned the script, allowing actors to improvise and freely create their own lines, as long as it made the scene funnier. One infamous example of this freedom of speech occurred in the first half of the film, in a garage scene where the characters were preparing for the race. According to the original script, the scene was fairly straightforward. Character A intimidates character B with a sarcastic remark. But things went off the rails when a supporting actor, who was one of Needham's close stuntmen and known for his blunt personality, suddenly improvised a line that shocked everyone on set. "If I had enough time, I would take those rosary bleeds and stuff up your nose." The line, both vulgar and religiously offensive, left everyone laughing hysterically. Burt Reynolds reportedly laughed so hard he couldn't stand up straight, while Needham simply patted the actor on the shoulder and jokingly said, "Good one, let's see how it plays on film." The atmosphere on set at the time was pure 80s, relaxed, impulsive, and no one seriously thought the line would make it past the censors. However, when the footage made it to the editing room, it was immediately flagged as not suitable. Editors and representatives from 20th Century Fox quickly realised that this scene far exceeded the boundaries of a PG rating. There were three main reasons why it was instantly removed. First, the threat was overtly violent. Second, the use of a religious symbol, the rosary, in an offensive context. And finally, the vulgar language risked pushing the film into an R rating, which would mean losing a large portion of the audience. In the early 1980s, the MPAA's censorship standards were particularly strict. Just one line containing offensive religious or sexual content was enough to downgrade a film from PG to R. To avoid this risk, the studio and the director decided to cut the entire scene. In its place, a more neutral piece of dialogue was reshot, where the character delivers a few harmless sarcastic remarks before the scene transitions into the next action sequence. For viewers, it seemed like an ordinary transition scene, nothing remarkable. But according to film editor Robert B. Sin, the original version of this scene was nearly 30 seconds longer and included 2 additional, even more heavy-handed lines, all of which were completely removed. Years later, a member of the film crew shared in an interview, "We all thought the line was hilarious, but the studio didn't laugh. They said, 'If we keep it, we'll lose PG immediately.' And so it disappeared forever. Since then, this scene has never been included in any VHS, DVD or Blu-ray release. For loyal fans of the Cannonball Run, this improvised line has become one of the most famous lost legends of the film. A bold, humorous moment buried by the thin line between creativity and offensiveness. One of the most famous deleted scenes from the Cannonball Run is often cited as a classic example of the over-the-line improvisation by comedy actors in the 1980s. According to an assistant director, the incident occurred during an interior shoot where the characters were giving a quick explanation of the cannonball race to some newcomers. The original script was straightforward, requiring a concise explanation. Cannonball is a wild cross-country race from Connecticut to California. However, during filming, a supporting actor, a well-known stand-up comedian, unexpectedly stumbled over his lines. The entire crew burst into laughter, and director Hal Needham, who was always encouraging of improvisation, signaled for them to continue. As the laughter began to subside, another actor, also a seasoned comedian who frequently joked around with Burt Reynolds, seized the moment. Looking directly into the camera with a smug expression, he quipped, "The Cannonball? It's a race from Connecticut to your arse." The unexpected line caused an explosion of laughter on set. The camera kept rolling, and Needham shouted, "Keep it! Keep it!" At the time, bold, improvised jokes like this were often considered gold on set, as they had the potential to create unforgettable comedic moments if kept in the film. Everyone assumed this line would become a highlight of the movie, but when the footage was screened internally for the post-production team and representatives from 20th Century Fox, the reaction was entirely different. No one dared to laugh. The line was immediately flagged as excessively vulgar, not for PG release. Under MPAA regulations at the time, any direct reference to body parts or crude humour could result in an R rating, which would mean losing a significant portion of the family audience. In the end, the entire scene was cut. To maintain the film's pacing, the editing team only kept the first few seconds of the scene, where the actor awkwardly described the race, before cutting away right before the joke was spoken. In the theatrical release and all subsequent versions, the scene transitions quickly to the racers preparing for the start of the race, leaving audiences completely unaware that a much more provocative line had been removed. Years later, a member of the sound team revealed that Hal Needham regretted having to cut the line. He once said, "That joke captured the true spirit of Cannonball, reckless, daring, and carefree." But he also admitted, if we had kept it, we would have lost the PG rating and half our audience. Since then, the joke about a race from Connecticut to your ass has become a legendary behind-the-scenes anecdote, a perfect example of bold creativity that couldn't survive Hollywood's censorship boundaries. The original footage of the scene is said to have only existed in raw tapes, screened a few times in the editing room before disappearing forever. No one knows if the original version of that scene still exists, and this mystery only adds to the allure of the deleted scenes from the Cannonball Run. In addition to scenes cut for being too sensitive, the Cannonball Run also had many sequences that had to be reworked or reshot numerous times due to uncontrollable errors, often caused by the improvisation and over-the-top humour of its cast. Among the primary culprits of this chaos were the duo J.J. McClure, Burt Reynolds, and Victor Prinzim, Dom DeLuise. One of the clearest examples of this chaos was their reunion scene near the start of the film, in the theatrical version. According to the script, it was a moment where two old friends reconnect after a long time apart, designed to be both funny and showcase the quirky friendship between these two eccentric characters as they prepared to join the Cannonball race. However, the reality was that this scene became a nightmare for the film crew. As planned, Burt Reynolds only needed to deliver a simple line, "Hey buddy, long time no see," and Dom DeLuise was supposed to reply with an equally straightforward line, "Good to see you again." But true to his improvisational and humorous nature, Dom repeatedly went off script. Every time the cameras started rolling, he would invent a new version of the dialogue. "Long time no see, again." "Good to see you, Captain Chaos reporting for duty." Burt Reynolds, known for his ability to stay composed in front of the camera, also couldn't hold it together. Every time he tried to deliver his line seriously, Dom would add yet another joke, leaving Burt and the entire crew cracking up uncontrollably. The scene was repeatedly interrupted, and after numerous attempts, the dialogue became a complete mess, with repeated lines and unnecessary ad-libs from Dom. What was originally intended to showcase the bond between the two characters ended up feeling awkward, off rhythm, and far from natural. Into the final cut, the editing team had no choice but to splice together segments from different takes to hide the errors. The result was a slight jump in the lip sync between the two actors. A small detail, but one sharp-eyed viewers could notice as evidence of a chaotic set. Behind those few seconds on screen was an entire filming session filled with laughter, where the actors' improvisation spiraled out of control, making the scene both maddening and unforgettable. Another hilarious behind-the-scenes story involving Dom DeLuise occurred when he unexpectedly added a completely unscripted line during a scene between JJ and Victor. According to the script, when Burt Reynolds asked, "Are you ready for the race?" Dom was supposed to simply nod or give a short reply. Instead, he paused for a moment and suddenly blurted out, "I don't care because I always wanted to be Captain America, it's a living." This unexpected line caused Reynolds and the entire crew to burst into laughter, creating a moment of chaotic hilarity on set. Director Hal Needham, standing behind the camera, chuckled but quickly pressed the intercom and said loudly, "Cut! Funny, Dom, but that doesn't belong in the movie." The detail about Captain Chaos, while undeniably funny, had nothing to do with the storyline. It disrupted the tone and broke the flow of the scene. To ensure the shoot didn't spiral further into chaos, Hal Needham insisted on a retake and firmly reminded Dom, "No jokes this time." However, according to a sound technician, Dom couldn't resist taking another shot at humour. The line quickly became an internal meme, repeated by the crew during breaks or written on the props board as a joke. Although it never made it to the screen, the joke left a lasting comedic mark on the behind-the-scenes memories of the Cannonball Run. One of the funniest technical mishaps during the filming of the Cannonball Run happened late at night while the crew was shooting a lengthy dialogue scene between JJ McClure and Victor Prinzim in the garage. Director Hal Needham, distracted by a sound issue, forgot to call for the end of the scene. The cameras kept rolling and the two actors, ever the professionals, stayed in character, trying to maintain a serious demeanour in the midst of an awkwardly long silence. After about 10 seconds of this uncomfortable quiet, Burt Reynolds, unable to hold back any longer, looked around, raised his eyebrows and burst into laughter, loudly asking, "So, no one's going to say cut?" Reynolds' remark immediately sent the entire set into an uproar of laughter. Hal Needham, realising his mistake, shouted over the intercom, "Cut! Cut! Stop filming now!" This moment, though omitted from the theatrical release, became a legendary behind-the-scenes story that the crew fondly referred to as the funniest mishap of the entire shoot. It perfectly captured the relaxed and natural vibe of the production and illustrated how technical errors could turn into unforgettable moments of humour. According to a member of the production team, the raw footage of this scene was once stored in the archives but has never been officially released. Many fans believe that if this moment had been included in the bloopers at the end of the film, it would have undoubtedly become one of the most iconic highlights, a perfect way to close out the laughter-filled, improvisational spirit of the Cannonball Run. In another scene, JJ McClure, the character played by Burt Reynolds, is the centerpiece of the story. A cocky, confident and charming driver who treats the Cannonball race as his personal playground. However, behind the scenes, it was Reynolds, the film's biggest star, who caused the crew to redo a seemingly simple scene multiple times. The scene takes place just before the race begins, with JJ McClure standing beside his race car, wiping the windshield, and introducing himself to a group of reporters and other racers. According to the script, he only needed to deliver a short line. "We're the favourites to win the Cannonball tomorrow. This car, this team, we're unstoppable." It sounded simple, but it was far from smooth in execution. In the first take, Reynolds stumbled over the word favourites and awkwardly laughed, joking, "Well, maybe not the favourites to say the line, huh?" Reynolds' joke made the entire crew burst into laughter, and the scene had to stop. Director Hal Needham, A close friend of Reynolds since their collaboration on Smokey and the Bandit couldn't bear to cut immediately. Instead, he let the cameras keep rolling, allowing Reynolds to recover by improvising a few lines. But this only made the scene even more chaotic and off rhythm. Reynolds tried multiple times, changing his delivery each time. "We're the... what is it? Favourites? Yes, we're the favourites. Probably." In the raw footage, Dom DeLuise, standing off camera, could be heard shouting, "Not anymore, Burt!" This remark caused Reynolds to laugh out loud again, and the scene had to be stopped. A crew member later recounted that Reynolds tried to keep a straight face but couldn't, as the entire crew, including the camera operator, was struggling to suppress their laughter. The situation dragged on to the point where the director had to call for a short break to let everyone catch their breath. Then in the final cut, the scene was reduced to just a few seconds, with a complete line spliced together from multiple takes. However, if viewers pay close attention, they can still see Reynolds' eyes glancing slightly toward the camera, as if trying to hold back laughter, a clear sign that this scene was more of a fun-filled improvisation than a serious declaration by the main character. According to Hollywood insiders, this is considered one of Burt Reynolds' legendary line stumbles, a testament to the Cannonball Run's unique filmmaking style. Everything was brimming with energy, laughter, and spontaneity, to the point where even mistakes became part of the film's charm. Despite the scenes that were cut due to sensitivity or inappropriateness, the behind-the-scenes stories of the Cannonball Run remain a treasure trove of fascinating anecdotes, reflecting the spirit of freedom, creativity, and explosive energy on set. From situations that went far beyond the script to spontaneous improvisations by the cast, the film not only delivered laughter on screen, but also clearly showcased the relaxed and fun atmosphere during its production. Notably, the Cannonball Run, 1981, marked one of Jackie Chan's earliest appearances in an American feature film, a pivotal moment in his international career. Playing a high-tech racer from Japan, Jackie Chan's role was relatively small, but he left a strong impression thanks to his unique action comedy style and lightning-fast martial arts moves. One of the most memorable scenes featured his character using martial arts to take down opponents right in the middle of the race, giving Western audiences their first taste of the perfect blend of action and humour in the Asian style. Interestingly, during the production of the film, Jackie Chan learned a great deal from director Hal Needham, who was famous for his free-spirited and creative filmmaking style. Needham had a habit of including bloopers in the end credits to create natural moments of humour, allowing audiences to see the fun atmosphere on set. Jackie Chan was deeply impressed by this idea and shared, "I never thought that bloopers could make audiences love a film so much. It's a wonderful way to show everyone how much fun we had making the movie." From that point on, Jackie Chan made including bloopers in the end credits his own signature. These outtakes, where he laughs at himself or shows his clumsiness while performing dangerous stunts, not only brought laughter, but also allowed audiences to feel closer to him. At the same time, they served as proof of his hard work and dedication to every moment on screen, solidifying Jackie Chan as a one-of-a-kind action comedy icon in the global film industry. One of the most fascinating behind-the-scenes stories of the Cannonball Run revolves around the iconic ambulance featured in the film. This wasn't just a prop, it was the very same vehicle that director Hal Needham and writer Brock Yates used during the real Cannonball Run race in 1979. The ambulance had been modified with a 440 CI wedge engine built by Landy, capable of reaching a top speed of 145 miles, 233 km/h. To optimize refueling time, it was even equipped with 4 fuel fillers, allowing the crew to quickly pump 90 gallons, 341 litres, of fuel in mere moments. During the race, Needham and Yates employed a bold trick. They disguised themselves as a medical team. The ambulance carried a real doctor and Yates' wife, Pamela, who posed as a patient to make the act more convincing. Yates even shouted at police officers, "We have a critical patient, Please clear the way." This clever ruse allowed them to bypass numerous traffic checkpoints. However, their journey was cut short when the ambulance's transmission broke down in Palm Springs, California. In the end, they had to transport the vehicle to Long Beach on a flatbed truck, abandoning the race. After the race, Needham kept the ambulance for several years before deciding to use it as a prop in the Cannonball Run. Once the film was completed, he donated the vehicle to a charity organisation, where it was auctioned off to raise a significant amount of money. The ambulance became not only a key element of the movie, but also a symbol of the creativity and daring spirit that defined the entire story. Even more interestingly, the Cannonball Run was inspired by the real Cannonball Run races, which were initiated by Brock Yates, an editor for Car and Driver magazine. These cross-country races, held throughout the 1970s, spanned from Connecticut to California and were designed to push the limits of speed while encouraging drivers' ingenuity. The final race took place in 1979, with Yates and Needham participating in the now legendary ambulance, which later became a centerpiece of the film. To enhance the authenticity of their story, Yates and Needham brought along a real doctor and had Pamela Yates pose as a patient. Yates once joked, "We needed a good excuse to get through the police checkpoints." Unfortunately, the ambulance's transmission failed when they reached Palm Springs, forcing them to abandon the journey. In addition to the ambulance, many other vehicles in the film, such as the Ferrari and Lamborghini, were actual cars that had participated in the real Cannonball Run races. This added a sense of realism and vibrancy to the film, helping it to perfectly capture the chaos, humour, and recklessness of the racers while celebrating the spirit of freedom and creativity that characterised these legendary events. It's impossible not to mention the film's biggest star, Burt Reynolds, who played J.J. McClure. Reynolds earned a record-breaking salary of $5 million, an unprecedented amount at the time. However, Reynolds later admitted that he regretted taking the role. "I did it for the money, and I'm not proud of that," he shared in an interview many years later. Despite this, thanks to his natural, charming acting style and bold, cocky lines, Reynolds still turned J.J. McClure into a memorable character. In one scene, J.J. stands beside the ambulance, wiping the windshield, and confidently declares, "This car, this team, we're unstoppable." But behind the scenes, Reynolds had to redo this scene multiple times because he couldn't stop laughing as his co-star Dom DeLuise repeatedly went off script. Dom shouted from off camera, "Not with you driving, Burt!" This caused the entire crew to burst into laughter. The Cannonball Run, 19 is not only famous for its entertaining behind-the-scenes stories, but is also tied to unexpected changes during production and memorable events that impacted the careers of its actors and the film industry as a whole. One notable change was the casting of Sammy Davis Jr, who played Fenderbaum. He joined the film only after Don Rickles, the actor initially chosen, dropped out for unknown reasons. While little is known about why Rickles left the role, this casting change brought an interesting dynamic to the film. Sammy Davis Jr. paired well with Dean Martin, who played Jamie Blake, creating a hilarious fake priest duo. In one scene, when stopped by the police, Fenderbaum solemnly says, "Officer, we're men of God." However, their fake sincerity, combined with their tone and expressions, made the scene one of the funniest moments in the movie. Not all behind-the-scenes stories of the Cannonball Run were filled with laughter. One of the most serious incidents involved stuntwoman Heidi von Beltz, who suffered a catastrophic accident during a dangerous stunt. The accident occurred when a car, which had not been thoroughly inspected for safety, collided with another in a dramatic crash sequence. Heidi, seated in the passenger seat without adequate protective gear, sustained severe spinal injuries and was left permanently paralysed. The incident led to a series of lengthy lawsuits, but more importantly, it served as a wake-up call for the film industry. Following this tragedy, safety regulations on film sets, particularly for stunt performers, were tightened to prevent similar catastrophes in the future. Even so, the humour and daring tricks of the Cannonball Run were vividly captured on screen, reflecting the spirit of the real-life Cannonball Run races. One of the most memorable details was how the racers used every possible trick to evade the police. For instance, the duo Jamie Blake and Fenderbaum disguised themselves as priests to avoid suspicion. In a hilarious scene, when stopped by the police, Jamie Blake quickly said, "Forgive him, Father, for he has sinned," while Fenderbaum solemnly nodded, creating a comically satirical moment. Additionally, the ambulance disguised as a medical vehicle to bypass traffic checkpoints was another real-life strategy from the actual Cannonball Run races. This detail added authenticity and excitement to the film, further immersing audiences in the chaos and creativity of the racers. Beyond the humour, the Cannonball Run also left a lasting mark with Jackie Chan's first appearance in an American feature film. Although it was a minor role, Jackie Chan made a strong impression with his unique martial arts sequences, which Western audiences had never seen before. In a memorable scene, Jackie Chan's character and his co-driver were attacked by a group of villains during the race. Without hesitation, he used martial arts to defeat them, performing quick and powerful moves that captivated viewers. This scene not only helped Jackie Chan make his mark in Hollywood, but also paved the way for his illustrious international career in the years to come. Jackie Chan once shared, "I didn't think this small role would become the starting point for my journey to Western audiences, but I knew that if done right, martial arts could touch every heart, no matter the language barrier." Despite the unfortunate incidents during production, the Cannonball Run remains a memorable action comedy, filled with laugh-out-loud moments and pivotal milestones in the careers of its cast. And that's all the crazy behind-the-scenes secrets, deleted scenes, and no one was ever supposed to see stories from the Cannonball Run. This movie isn't just a comedy classic, but also a chaotic, unpredictable journey that we'll always love. If you were shocked, laughed out loud, or simply enjoyed what you just heard, don't forget to leave a like, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. What about you? Which part of this video surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.